Tragedy leading to a call for action at Johnson High School. How a group of students have joined forces with city and county officials, all in an effort to make the roads around their school safer.
After a string of recent fires on the southwest side, the fire department is trying to get the word out about fire safety tips. A look at the information they're sharing with the community coming up.
Live from KSAT 12, the news at noon starts right now.
What may be a case of self-defense is getting the attention of San Antonio homicide detectives.
They are investigating the deadly shooting of a man during what appeared to have been a home invasion. A woman told police she shot the man who was breaking into her southeast side home, not far from East South Cross and Pecan Valley Road.
As Katrina Weber reports, police say there were children in the home at the time.
Almost immediately after their 10 p.m. call, San Antonio police officers try to sort out whether they are investigating a crime or a crime interrupted. They found a woman and her 3 children inside the home in the 600 block of Cashmere Place. She told officers she was trying to keep a man outside, someone who she says had made it into the laundry room at the back of her home. Police say the woman, who is in her 30s, told them she reached for her gun and fired after the intruder tried to get past a second door. He was shot in the chest and died on the way to a hospital. Investigators tried to learn as much as they could about what happened from evidence at the scene. Even today, police haven't reached any definite conclusions. They tell us that this case is still under investigation. Now, there have been no charges filed against the woman, and so far police haven't told us anything about the man who was killed. Reporting from Public Safety Headquarters, Katrina Weber, KSAT 12 News.
Hey, let's get outside with live cam. Still cloudy. I'm hoping for some sun at some point today.
It's going to warm up. 76 now.
Yeah, be careful what you wish for. That sun pops out, temperature goes way up there. We're expecting some mid to upper 80s today, but cloudy right now, as David pointed out. Overcast skies. We've got some breaks off to the east, and we'll see more and more of that as we head into the latter part of the afternoon. Let's look at the satellite picture, and you can see where all the clouds are at this hour, stretching from San Antonio up to Kerrville, Hondo, over to Uvalde. Overcast skies. Starting to see some sun in Del Rio, seeing some in Gonzales, and down towards Floresville, New Braunfels. You're starting to see a few peaks of sun as well, and temperatures are jumping up. We're at 79 in New Braunfels, already seeing a few 80s on the map. Stinson down to Pleasanton, and then still a few 60s in places like Bandera and Lost Maples. Here's what's ahead next few days and what you can plan for. Some afternoon sun, gusty winds today. That'll be kind of the main theme. Also, lots of humidity. Tomorrow, basically the same story, although we'll watch for a few very isolated storms up in the hill country. Chances of any rain tomorrow are pretty low. On Sunday, we'll watch for some storms out west, and that'll be mainly Sunday night. Some of those could feed towards San Antonio by Monday morning. So all things we're watching over the weekend, all in all, by and large, a great weekend on the way, just warm, humid, and windy. More on that 7-day forecast and those chances for storms coming up in just a bit.
Thank you, Justin. And today, a capital murder trial continues. The suspect at the center of the case is accused of hiring an undercover officer to kill her boyfriend's sister. Testimony is set to continue today. However, during day two of the trial, Angelica Navarro de Paz took the stand in her own defense. Her testimony didn't last long. The judge dismissed the jury after Navarro de Paz's attorney asked her about threats against her family. However, jurors did hear a taped conversation between her and the undercover officer she is accused of hiring to kill her boyfriend's sister. If the jury finds her guilty, Navarro de Paz faces anywhere from 5 to 99 years or life in prison.
Fire safety on the minds of folks on the southwest side of town after a series of fires in District 5. And this morning, firefighters spoke to seniors in the community to give them some fire safety tips. One of the big talking points was about having a safety plan in place in case a fire does break out, and even talking to your neighbors about that safety plan and sharing emergency contact information with your neighbors as well. As for the string of recent fires, the San Antonio Fire Department says there are a wide range of causes.
So the causes are across the board. It's no, we're not saying, it's X, Y, or Z. It's nationwide, citywide, everywhere. It's various causes. So what we're focused on here is making sure that our residents have smoke detectors, that they know and have a clear way out of their home if their house does catch on fire, knowing what we need from them.
The tips are actually part of the fire department's safety checklist. You can go to FireSafe SA to take a look at those tips and make sure you're prepared. And if you are in need of smoke detector, you can get one for free in San Antonio. Call 211 for more information.
A demand for change. That's what students at Johnson High School are pushing for after 2 of their classmates were killed in a fiery crash. Gabriel Juarez and Ziv Houdani were killed in a 2-vehicle crash back in January in the 23200 block of Bulverde Road, just outside of the school entrance. Traffic Authority Stephen Cavasso explains why some feel danger is getting too close to home.
It's a painful reminder for Johnson High School students.
That was truly a loss that was felt very deeply.
It was January 9th when 16-year-old Gabriel Juarez and 17-year-old Ziv Houdani were killed in a crash just outside the campus entrance.
I think it was just something that was felt throughout the school.
Alex Easley is a junior and is part of the Smart Driving Club, a student organization which aims to promote better driving habits. Easley tells us the tragedy led to a call for action.
It gave the county and city a reason to listen to our voices.
The group of students have been working with city and county officials to recommend improvements in the area where their classmates died. Some of those improvements include better signage and traffic lights. Melinda Cox is a club sponsor and founder. She says the area also has a blind curve, and too often, drivers speed through.
We have, 600 kids that pull out of the back parking lot every day.
A spokesman for District 9 Councilman John Courage tells us their office has received complaints about the conditions on Bulverde, but the area is controlled by Bexar County. County officials tell us an engineer study is being conducted along the corridor, but the findings have not been made public. Easley tells us as they wait for answers, students remain determined.
I think it's very important to spread our message throughout other school districts. It's not only a Johnson problem.
Yeah, we are told that an overhead beacon was funded by Councilman Courage's office, which they hope to see installed by next school year. As far as the results from that engineer study, county officials tell us that should be available within the next few weeks. Of course, we'll update this story at KSAT.com as more information is made available. Stephen Cavassos, KSAT 12 News. Back to you.
Broadway Bank still celebrating Earth Day by hosting their community Shred Day. It's the first one they've hosted since 2019. This is a great opportunity to get rid of any important documents you no longer need, and you can do it in a safe way. It also helps divert paper from landfills, which helps the environment.
The event is free and open to the public. Just bring your items to Broadway Bank, Maine, off Loop 410 near Nacogdoches from 9 a.m. to noon tomorrow, and you don't even have to get out of your car. Just have your papers in a box and go through the drive-thru. There, a volunteer will unload your boxes for you. There is a limit of 5 medium boxes per person.
Still coming up this half hour, the Cowboys and the Texans have pretty good first rounds to start the NFL draft last night. Details on the way.
And after nearly 3 years in a Russian prison, Trevor Reed finally got to spend some time with his family as he's being treated at a San Antonio hospital. What his loved ones are saying following the emotional reunion.
This noon, we are hearing more from the family of Trevor Reed.
The Marine veteran was able to return to the U.S. after spending nearly 3 years in prison in Russia. He's now receiving treatment at BAMC here in San Antonio.
His family got the chance to spend some time with him yesterday. ABC's Rena Roy has their reaction to their time together.
After nearly 3 years in a Russian prison, Trevor Reed is recovering in a military hospital at Joint Base San Antonio in Texas.
He's got a long road ahead of him to, recuperate, recover, get back into the swing of things. But like I said, his spirits are good, so we think he's going to be fine.
The Marine veteran being offered intensive psychological counseling and support. Reed was imprisoned on charges he assaulted a police officer in Moscow, an accusation he and the U.S. government insists was false.
Considering all he's been through and the recovery that's ahead of him, his spirits are bright, he's telling stories.
Reed was released as part of a top-secret international prisoner swap seen in this video broadcast on Russian state TV. Congressman August Pfluger, along with the Reed family, greeting Trevor on the tarmac early Thursday as he arrived back in the U.S.
He was obviously very fatigued. His spirit is incredible. He's a survivor. He's a fighter.
Trevor's parents, Joey and Paula, worked tirelessly to bring their son home. Joey spending more more than a year in Russia trying to appeal his sentence. The couple meeting with President Biden in the Oval Office last month after demonstrating outside the White House.
We'd said all along if we could just speak to the man, we think he would make this happen, and that's exactly what happened. He did everything that we had said he would do, and it's amazing, and we can't thank him enough, and we believe that he may have saved Trevor's life.
Pressure now growing on the president to help secure the release of other Americans still imprisoned in Russia, including Paul Whelan, also a Marine veteran arrested in Moscow in 2018 on espionage charges, and WNBA star Brittany Griner, detained since February after Russian officials say they found cannabis oil in her luggage. Rena Roy, ABC News, New York.
Outside with live cam. You know, we had all that rain on Monday. Used an umbrella. I left it in the truck just in case. I'm hoping.
There were some sprinkles. I think it was this morning. Maybe it was last night. I don't know.
It was this morning.
Yeah.
There was some drizzles, a few showers here and there. Nothing that was all that heavy, but we're going to see conditions like that next couple of mornings where we see a little bit of drizzle in the mornings, may make for some wet roads, and then sun in the afternoon. The aquifer, though, is certainly not really benefiting from this rain. It's down 0.4 of a foot, 647.9. We are still in stage 2, and molds staying high. 5,740. Oak is at 380 and moderate. Pecan and grass are low. We look ahead to the weekend and next week, and I'll give you a quick peek of the forecast. It's going to be hot and humid. We know that, but maybe some rain chances there too. We'll talk about it coming up.
Welcome back.
We're getting in that pattern.
Friday. What is the pattern?
The pattern, it's Friday. It's that pattern. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday.
That's my favorite kind of
Who knew?
Never mind. Justin, what kind of pattern are we getting in?
Well, it's the heat and humidity, right? So those
that's the
There you
days
go.
earlier this week where we had 70s, you can pretty much say goodbye to that. Hate to say it, but we are at that point where I know. We're to the point now where it's heat and humidity pretty much all the way through to maybe November at this point. As we go outside for you, cloudy skies. It is 76 at the airport. Dew point is at 67, so there's your humidity. Southerly winds at 13 miles per hour. Satellite picture reveals that we do have some breaks in the clouds as you go east of San Antonio, New Braunfels, Seguin, down towards Floresville, starting to see some peaks of sun. You're going to see the temperatures there shoot up a little bit quicker. Out west, clouds are thicker, especially across the hill country. So Kerrville, you are certainly overcast. Fredericksburg, Uvalde, but some breaks starting to show up around Rock Springs and Del Rio. Let's look at the temperatures. Here in San Antonio, still in the 70s, 76 degrees here, 81 Stinson, 80 Pleasanton, 76 though in Seguin. And again, I think that number jumps up pretty quickly. We're already up to 80 in New Braunfels and 75 cloudy in Hondo. Wind speeds today, they're going to be fairly breezy, not overly windy, but we're talking wind gusts anywhere from 20 to 25 as we get into the afternoon. And then by, say, late this evening and tonight, we'll start to see the winds come up even more, some gusts close to 30. We saw that last night. So if you're going to be out and about tonight, know that it will be somewhat windy and humid, too. Dew points close to 70. That's almost into the oppressive category. Moisture has been flowing off the Gulf of Mexico and is being pushed all the way up into the plains, which, by the way, will lead to some severe weather up there. I'll show you that in just a second. There's a dry line setting up across West Texas. Very dry air out across West Texas and New Mexico. That's going to lead to high fire danger there. Not here because we have the humidity, but basically the Texas Panhandle all the way out to El Paso, Albuquerque. That's where there could be quite a few wildfires today as the storm system moves across the country and produces pretty strong winds along with that very dry air. As this storm system progresses east, it will also create some severe weather, as we talked about, Oklahoma City, Wichita, up to Omaha. Some widespread severe storms in places like Kansas and Nebraska. There could be some tornadoes today, but this all stays well to our north. A lot of the energy really over the next week or so stays to our north. But there are some small chances mixed into our forecast for rain, and it looks like that will be mainly Saturday evening and maybe again Sunday evening. We'll look at that here in just a second. 86, 3 o'clock. 86 by 6 p.m., 84, 7 p.m. And then as we get into tonight, temperatures in the 70s with those gusty south winds as we discussed. Here's a look at the forecast. And by 5 p.m., we're partly cloudy around here. Tomorrow morning, here comes the drizzle and maybe a few showers too. We'll see that maybe mid-morning. This is showing around 10 a.m. with some showers popping up. Weak frontal boundary comes into the hill country. may scare up a storm. There's a 10% chance of that. I think it probably stays north of San Antonio. So Saturday looks really pretty quiet. As we get into Sunday, some morning drizzle. And then Monday, early Monday, late Sunday night, early Monday morning, this is around midnight, we're going to watch for the potential for some storms coming in to our western counties. And they could hold on all the way into Monday morning here around San Antonio. So that's a time frame we'll watch as well. Your weekend, though, if you're planning it out, 88 tomorrow, just that small chance of rain, 90 on Sunday. And if we see any storms, it'll be Sunday night. So most of your weekend is going to be just fine. 88 Saturday, 90 Sunday, 87 Monday with a chance of storms early, 91 Tuesday, and another small chance of storms on Wednesday with a high of 91, guys.
Chance of storms, which means download the KSAT Weather Authority app. Thank you, Justin.
You're on that. No surprises from the Cowboys, but the Texans made some pretty big moves last night in round 1 of the NFL draft.
Pro football coverage powered by Davis Law Firm.
The NFL draft continues tonight with rounds 2 and 3. Last night, round 1, the first pick, not really a surprise. Trayvon Walker was selected by the Jacksonville Jaguars. The defensive end out of Georgia will be trying to help the worst team in the league get things headed in the right direction. Walker is coming off his best performance in college during the 2021 college football playoffs. He had a season-high 7 pressures in Georgia's victory over Alabama and a career-high 6 sacks in 2021. Now he is going to be a big piece of the puzzle to get the Jaguars back on track. In the meantime, the Houston Texans making a lot of news and a lot of noise with a lot of moves. They started the night with 2 first-round picks. The Texans went with defense first. The team used the number 3 overall pick to select Derek Stingley Jr. He's a cornerback out of LSU. Stingley 6'1", 190, and earned All-American honors in 2019 and 2020. However, last season he suffered a season-ending foot injury, so he was only able to play in 3 games. He did not perform in any drills at the NFL Combine, but he did participate in LSU's Pro Day. Then the Texans got really busy. They traded their 13th overall pick to the Philadelphia Eagles. The Texans got the Eagles' 15th pick, plus they got 124, 162, and pick 166. The Texans used the 15th pick to select Kenyon Green, the Aggies' star offensive tackle. He's a 2-time consensus All-American. In the meantime, the Cowboys tried to move up in the first round, but stayed at number 24 overall, and they used their first pick to select Tyler Smith, a tackle out of Tulsa. They had a big need at that position after losing both Connor Williams and Leal Collins off their offensive line. And after the Texans scooped up Kenyon Green, part of the scouting report on the 6'5", 324-pounder left tackle, though, is he's got a problem with holding penalties, just what the Cowboys don't need. But Mike McCarthy said he wasn't really worried. Says that now, wait till a couple of flags come flying. He could be a starter at left guard. So here's the look at the top 5 picks last night. Jaguars, Trayvon Walker. Then there's a line with Aiden Hutchinson. Those guys could have gone 1-2. Texans, Derek Stingley, and then you got the Jets and the Giants. 5 defensive guys taken in those first 5 picks. That's a first in like 30 years. Here's a look at the rest of the top 10 for you. All the way down to Jets, Garrett Wilson, wide receiver out of OSU. And the Big Ocho, DeMarvin Leal, still patiently waiting to live out his childhood dream of playing in the National Football League. He's one of several area football players that's eligible for the draft. Last night, he held a draft party with family and friends here in town at an Airbnb, and that's where Larry Ramirez met with him and asked him how he's feeling.
Nervous, good, excited. You know, you work your whole life for this, one moment, this one day. So just ready to get the day going. Time is against me, so just waiting for time to catch up.
What would you now tell little Marv a long, long time ago as he anticipated the build-up to this night?
Keep working. Keep listening, keep being, a sponge, just taking in all the wisdom, all the, just everybody's like their information of how to play the game, just how to be, you, basically. Just be confident, be you, keep moving.
Who do you have here tonight at this draft party?
Close ones, family members, even, friends, agents, just my inner circle.
Your mom was telling me it was important to have your grandparents here?
Definitely was. My grandpa, he's 90 years old, blind. Grandma, she's right behind him, and hey, it's just a blessing to still have them in this world here. They watch me in this moment.
Who's more nervous, you or your mother?
Probably my mom, honestly. Being, second, her baby, basically. And, this moment comes, so I know she's probably freaking out in the inside, but it's okay.
The last thing, what's your message for San Antonio Jets and Rocket fans as we watch and wait for your name to be called?
I appreciate all the support. Y'all have had my back since, high school, even before then. And, to everybody that's not here at the draft party, still love you guys. Still, appreciate everything that everybody has done for me. And so just stay tuned.
Well, the party continues because he didn't get drafted last night, so they'll probably continue that party tonight. So they think he should go early in tonight's second round. So
I like the advice for little Ocho.
Little Ocho?
Little Marvin. Little Marv.
I like that.
All right, it's not a sight most can see and live to tell about it, but inside of a shark's mouth, how a film crew was able to get the terrifying shot.
And workers at a plant that produced contaminated baby formula expressed safety concerns about the product several months before they were recalled. Details coming up in the next half hour.
In Oklahoma, lawmakers are taking new steps to limit abortions.
Just weeks after the governor signed the most restrictive abortion law in the country, the state legislature passed another bill based on that controversial Texas law.
ABC's Rachel Scott has more.
Well, Republicans in Oklahoma say they want to outlaw abortion entirely, and they are willing to pass any measure that gets them closer to doing just that. And so overnight, the state legislature just cleared this bill that bans abortion as early as 6 weeks. That's before many women even know that they are pregnant. It is modeled after that strict abortion law in Texas that empowers private citizens to sue anyone who helps a woman get an unlawful abortion, including the doctors who perform them. That person can then sue for a reward of up to $10,000 if successful. Now, Governor Kevin Stitt is expected to sign this bill into law in just a matter of days. He has already signed a bill that would make performing an abortion illegal, but that is not scheduled to go into effect until August. And that's the key difference here, because once the governor signs this bill, it will go into effect immediately. Abortion providers say they do plan to challenge this, but unless a federal judge puts this law on hold, abortions in the state of Oklahoma will all but stop. And of course, both sides of this issue are anticipating that Supreme Court decision early June that will decide the future of Roe versus Wade. Rachel Scott, ABC News, Washington.
Now to the war in Ukraine, where it has claimed the life of an American. His family says he was a former U.S. Marine. The family of 22-year-old Willie Joseph Cancel says he died fighting with Ukrainian forces while working with a private military contracting company. Meanwhile, Russian forces hit targets all over Ukraine today, and that includes an attack on Kyiv that hit a residential high-rise and another building. The fresh attacks come as President Joe Biden asked Congress on yesterday for $33 billion to bolster Ukraine's fight against Russia, which shows no signs of receding anytime soon.
The House Select Committee investigating the January 6th attack on the Capitol will be holding 8 public hearings in June. That's according to lawmakers on the panel. Democratic Chairman Benny Thompson says the hearings are scheduled for prime time and daytime. The first one will happen June 9th. He adds that senators will be invited to cooperate. The panel will also re-invite other Republicans linked to conversations inside the Trump White House before and after the January 6th Capitol riot, including House Minority Leader Kevin McCarthy, who refused to cooperate with the committee back in January. The panel says it will issue a single final report about their investigation in the fall, just before the midterm elections.
And the White House is now considering wiping out some student loan debt. President Joe Biden says he plans to announce his decision on federal student loan relief within the next couple of weeks. However, the catch with loan forgiveness is inflation. Canceling all federal student debt could increase the inflation rate by 1.1 to 0.5% over a year. The current proposals wouldn't go that far. The problem is Americans are already dealing with high prices. Biden campaigned on several issues relating to student debt, including waiving what some students owe for undergraduate studies at public schools and making community college free. He has not done any of those things so far.
Outside with Live Cam, if you got some plans for the weekend, it's going to be, oh, wait, hold on. The clouds are moving out. We've had clouds all morning, so if you got some plans for the weekend, it's going to be a little warm, but just take a look at that shot right there.
I guess my piece of advice, my 2 cents, would be don't wash your car, because if the sprinkles are going to come and go during the weekend.
Then don't wash it?
Right?
Is that your 2 cents? That's more like 3 cents.
That is good advice, although I washed my car yesterday, only because...
And it rained this morning.
Well, I know,
Exactly.
but my car was like atrocious. It was bad. It had to happen, and maybe I'll bring the rain in, hopefully. I want to show you the temperatures across the state. Right now, we're at 83, Lubbock, 81 in Amarillo, 76 here. You can actually see where the clouds are making an impact here. So it's a little cooler stretching from Del Rio up to Waco and Dallas because we have some pretty thick morning clouds that just haven't gone away yet. Where we're seeing more sun, the numbers are well into the 80s in many spots here across Texas. And I think we'll be in the 80s here this afternoon. We just got to lose these clouds first, and they are trying to move out. The other thing that you're going to notice, especially if you plan to be out this evening, are those gusty winds. Winds gusting to 25, maybe even 30 miles per hour as we get into late this afternoon and this evening and tonight. So it will be rather windy. And temperatures, as I said, will eventually warm up once these clouds break apart. And we think we'll be in the mid to upper 80s this afternoon, 89 here in San Antonio. Probably going to see some 90s on the map as well. This trend continues right on into the weekend. We'll see some pretty warm temperatures, maybe some small chances for rain. We're also watching Sunday night and Monday morning. We'll have more details on that coming up in just a few minutes. David?
Thank you, Justin. New at noon, we're learning a whistleblower complained to the FDA about safety concerns months before some baby formulas were taken off store shelves. You recall several babies got a rare and serious bacterial infection after eating formula made at the Abbott Nutrition plant. 2 babies actually died. It turns out a former employee at the plant laid out concerns about poor cleaning practices, falsified records, and instances where employees knowingly put out formula that may have been contaminated. The complaint says the employee was fired for raising safety concerns, and he was one of a number of people who came forward about safety issues. Abbott says it's investigating, cooperating with the FDA's investigation. However, that agency itself is facing some backlash. That's because it received this complaint in October, but didn't interview the former employee until December and didn't do an in-person inspection of the Sturgis facility until January.
Now to a look at rental scams. According to the FBI, in 2021, Americans lost more than $350 million in real estate and rental scams. ABC's Becky Worley has more on what to watch out for.
I was very upset, obviously.
Finding a place to live can be stressful. Even more so when you find out you've been scammed. Ashley Rourke of Berkeley, Michigan, talking to our affiliate WXYZ, telling them she lost $930 trying to rent this house.
Full first month's rent, security deposit.
She responded to an online listing, and she didn't suspect anything suspicious.
People were quick to respond. The photos were all really nice.
She says she drove by the home and talked on the phone with someone claiming to be a lawyer representing the owner. According to Ashley, he then put the pressure on, saying he had to go out of town soon, so he needed the first month's rent and security deposit to be sent quickly, all to get the paperwork and keys.
10 minutes after I was supposed to meet the person, they blocked my phone number.
Experts say scammers often advertise rentals that don't exist or aren't actually available, all to trick people into transferring money to them.
The housing market is still kind of crazy right now. So we're getting even more reports of, I saw this property online, it looked fascinating, but when I went to go check it out, it either didn't exist or there was some other circumstance that really raised a lot of red flags.
And the Better Business Bureau points out red flags. Signs of a scam: the person asks for money before you see the house or sign a lease. They won't meet you in person, or they say you can't see the inside of the house.
A new study is out about how much sleep middle to older age adults should get. It found 7 hours is the ideal amount of sleep for people in their middle age or older. We've got long been told that 8 hours is the magic number, but this new study reduces that by an hour and says too much sleep could be just as harmful as too little. Too little or too much sleep associated with poor cognitive function and mental health. For the study, researchers from the UK and China examined data from nearly 500,000 adults aged 38 to 73. They found that 7 hours of sleep per night was the optimal amount of sleep for cognitive performance, but also for good mental health.
And still ahead, an action star is stepping back into a familiar role, but this time there's a twist. How Liam Neeson is using his particular set of skills in his latest movie. Still ahead.
An emperor penguin colony has a new metallic member.
It's a robot named Echo, and it's an Echo. All right, it's and my goodness, you stumped me up here. Antarctica, living with penguins so it can gather information about them. These unnamed ground vehicles will help scientists study the vulnerability of marine ecosystems and potential problems that could be caused by climate change. The team says this will help them collect data year-round while having less impact on the animals overall.
The researchers also said the penguins appear to be getting along well with Echo.
Echo. And if you would like to infiltrate a group of penguins, well, you can do that on KSAT.com. There we have the awesome Penguin Cam on KSAT Kids homepage. It'll give you a look at the penguin exhibit, which is at SeaWorld San Antonio.
Oh, that's a cool exhibit. Been in there.
Never been.
I visited with the penguins before inside that exhibit. They're
sure
cool.
They had a lot to say.
Yeah, they did. All right, and learn more about penguins and their environment when you check that out. They are the second most endangered seabird. Did not know that.
Right, it seems a shark was looking for a bit of a snack when it spotted a film crew. It decided to chomp on one of their cameras.
Yeah, the crew is okay, and now they have some amazing video of her mouth from inside. CNN's Jeannie Mose takes a closer look.
When a tiger shark has an eye out for a tasty morsel, apparently even the eye of a camera will do. Giving us a jaw-dropping view inside the mouth of a shark, sort of like Jonah's point of view inside the whale, complete with audio. Those are the gills. The camera had been weighted down in the sand by divers shooting a documentary about shark conservation in the Maldives, south of India.
And the shark just passed by, saw this shiny thing, and was like, oh, what is that? And then he just tries to bite it, basically.
A filmmaker who calls himself Zimmy the Kid hates the portrayal of sharks as killers. In movies like Jaws, he and his friends prefer interacting with sharks, even touching them if they venture too close.
This is called redirect them, so we just have to like push their nose, sort of.
This is a guy who has shark teeth tattooed on his fingers, shaped like the real thing. Viewers declared the Inside the Shark video insane. Surprisingly clean looking, someone noted. Who's his dentist? Her dentist, actually. If you just get past the rows and rows of razor-sharp teeth, the inside of a shark is actually quite cozy. But the shark didn't find the camera tasty. She spit it out. What kind of shape is the camera in?
The camera is totally fine. There's just like a little scratch on the waterproof case.
The tiger shark is known as the trash can of the sea. They eat anything. They may devour this chunk of tuna, but not the camera. She's not quite ready for her close-up. Jeannie Mose, CNN, New York.
Super fascinating, but
yeah, interesting observation.
Scary.
Looking right down the guts of a shark.
Stuff of nightmares right there. But that is a very cool shot. I mean,
you gonna go to the beach now?
Yeah, sure. We're good. We're good. 76 degrees so far today. The low this morning 70. So we've only warmed up 6 degrees. That's because of the cloud cover. The average is 83. Average high is 83, average low is 62. We're going to be, I think, a little bit above average today. The record, though, is 98, set back in 1909. Thankfully, nowhere near that. We do have a hot weekend on the way. Another look at that forecast is ahead.
Clouds finally moving out. And I was stunned that the clouds are moving out.
Oh, okay.
That's what that was. You're not surprised?
No, this is something that we've seen here and there this week. Patterns, right?
Well, let me tell you something about these clouds.
Okay, please. Enlighten us.
To rant for a second. Low clouds in the meteorology world, especially around here, are the most frustrating thing because they will really mess up your forecast. Sometimes they like to stick around to about 2, 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Sometimes they burn off at 11. It really depends on when they go, how quickly temperatures warm up, and it can throw off your temperature forecast. But now I'm done ranting. So we're still waiting on the clouds here in San Antonio to break apart. Once they do, we are going to see some warm temperatures today. It's just a matter of timing. I want to show you the lake levels real quick. We like to check in on these and see where we are, especially considering we're in the midst of a drought. Medina is only 19% full and still falling. Now keep in mind it's pumping season. The reservoir is being used. Typically it goes down this time of year, but the drought's just adding to that. Canyon Lake, 97% full. Pretty steady level, but it is actually up from where it was a year ago. Choke Canyon, 40%. It's up 4 feet from a year ago. But Amistad, which did get some rain earlier this week, still at 42% full and really has not changed much. It's down 7 feet from where it was a year ago. Outside, there it is. Cloudy skies. They're still there. 76 degrees at the airport. We are up to 84, though, at Stinson. 77 Kelly, 79 Randolph, and a good southerly breeze at this hour. There is a look at the cloud cover, and there are breaks. We're just not seeing that here around Bexar County. Some breaks down there around Carrizo Springs. Starting to see breaks to the south in Atascosa County. Certainly some sun around Gonzales. Maybe Seguin, you had some sun earlier, although the clouds are shifting back in. Kerrville, you are overcast. And temperatures, 74 Bulverde, 75 Canyon Lake, 80 in New Braunfels, 71 Comfort. Seguin, you're at 78. Castroville, 79. Wind gust forecast today, we'll see gusts anywhere from, let's say, 20 to 25 into the afternoon. But the winds do pick up as we get into the evening hours. I think we'll see some gusts close to 30. We saw some of that last night, evening hours and into the overnight hours. So it will be rather windy tonight. Dew points have increased on that southerly wind. We're seeing dew points now in the 60s and close to 70s, so it's pretty sticky out there, and it's setting up a dry line out across West Texas. So very dry air to the west of it, very humid air to the east of that. The dry line pretty much stays where it is, though. It doesn't move east. Sometimes these can help develop thunderstorms. Not today. To the west of that, though, there are some concerns, some fire concerns, some gusty winds across West Texas. This is a low moving across the country, and it is producing some storms already in Missouri, but it is expected to produce more severe weather today across the plains. And eventually it's going to help to push a front close to the hill country tomorrow, which may touch off a shower or storm, although it's not looking all that likely. 3 p.m. today, 86 degrees, southerly winds around 10 to 20 miles per hour. I think we'll be in the mid-80s this afternoon and this evening before falling into the 70s with clouds increasing overnight. And we'll do the whole cloud thing again tomorrow with cloudy conditions and some drizzle to start, and then partly cloudy skies by the afternoon. Let's go into Saturday to start. Cloudy skies, some drizzle, a few showers. And then as we get into the afternoon, there's that front I was talking about. Just a 10% chance, really, of seeing a storm along that front. And I think it probably stays mostly north of San Antonio. So more drizzle Sunday morning. And then we'll watch what happens out west. This is Sunday night around 9 o'clock. Start to see some storms developing out around Del Rio on the Rio Grande. Some of these could be strong. And there are some indications that these could hold together and work their way towards San Antonio by early Monday. Right now, still just a 20% chance of rain. Until we can get a better grasp on that. But it's something to watch Sunday night into Monday. 87 on Monday, 91 Tuesday. We'll have another small chance for some showers and storms coming up on Wednesday as well. We'll be right back.
Liam Neeson bringing his very particular set of skills to a new film.
The actor's playing a familiar role, but with a medical twist. CNN's Rick Damigella has a preview of the movie you can catch at the box office this weekend.
I'm the bad man. Have been for a long time.
Liam Neeson plays a professional with a certain set of skills hampered by the onset of Alzheimer's in Memory.
Anything else I can do for you? The room number again? It's on the key holder.
He's been a hitman taking out bad guys for 40 years. He knows the end is very near, and he wants to do something by way of redemption.
I can't keep doing your job for you. Who is this? You're too slow to make them pay. What they did to children, they're not doing anything about it.
Doing the research for him as regards reading, watching documentaries on dementia, Alzheimer's, reading some books on it was incredibly interesting. It's an awful affliction to have it.
The retainer for your services is $10 million.
Monica Bellucci sought a challenge in playing the villain.
She's described as a natural sociopath, bright, charming, but at the same time cold and manipulative. And for some aspects, she's a monster, and in others, she's a human being. And playing this duality is what interests me. And with this role, I wanted to break the mold in which I have been cast many times in my life.
We all have to die. What's important is what you do before you go.
In Hollywood, I'm Rick Damigella.
Hello, everyone. These are your top headlines for Cheddar News. The U.S. economy growth unexpectedly shrank 1.4% in the first quarter of the year. It's also a sharp turn from the previous quarter's 6.4% growth rate. Key factors include the war in Ukraine, ongoing supply chain disruptions, and soaring inflation. Meanwhile, Amazon posted their first quarterly loss since 2015. Sales growth slowed significantly during the start of the year. That is a slump in online shopping, and ad revenue hit the world's largest online retailer. Supply chain and worker pushes for unionization also taking a toll as well. Further, Amazon lost roughly $7 billion due to its 18% stake in electric vehicle maker Rivian, with their stock down 68% this year. And 2 Russian cosmonauts conducted a spacewalk and tested the new robotic arm of the International Space Station on Thursday. The 37-foot robotic arm will now be used to assist future spacewalks. It will also transport items outside of the Russian segment of the space station. And that's your Cheddar News Update. I'm Baker Machado coming to you from Cheddar Studios in Lower Manhattan.
Well, we're closing in on 80 degrees now. We should be in the mid to upper 80s this afternoon. Still seeing cloud cover. It'll take a little bit more time before those clouds completely clear out, but some sun later today. It'll be hot, humid, and breezy. Expect some gusts up to 30 miles per hour as we get into this evening and tonight. Small chance of a storm in the hill country tomorrow. We'll start off cloudy with some drizzle and then break out in the sun. That will really be the trend through Sunday. We'll be watching, though, late Sunday night for some storms out west. Some of those can make their way towards San Antonio by early Monday morning. Otherwise, it'll be a hot and humid week next week, too. Starting to feel more like April and May, guys, as we head in that direction.
Thank you so much, Justin.
Once again, to close out the week, it is Fiona and Jen, and I think they got a famous actor and some fantastic food.
As always.
I say live starts right
now.